And our last album review of the day, we have RAZZMATAZZ, but I don't know how, but they found me. It is 12 songs, 37 minutes long. It came out the end of October. I just didn't catch it because I'm stupid. It is, I don't know how, but they found me. They are a duo that I first saw. They opened up for the 1975, and my friend Justin, who went to the show with me, he actually listened to them a bit before, and he was excited that they were on, and he was telling me about them, and their live presence alone at that concert, I was like, holy crap, they're really good duo. I really like them.
Yeah.
So let me look into the discography a little bit, and then I ended up liking them, and I was like, okay, they don't have an LP, they just have a bunch of singles, because originally they were just releasing stuff and literally were like, I don't want to be found, but this is and then they ended up touring and stuff now. And they're a fantastic little duo. And
it's really interesting because usually no one likes the opening band, but
no, the first opening band was horrible. They opened up before Catfish and the Bottlemen, because there was 3 openers. There is some random indie hipster shit that was horrible, and then there is I don't know how. And there's Catfish. Catfish were not good live. They were really boring. They just kind of kept playing, and their songs were super stagnant. But I don't know how were like amazing. They were incredible, and everybody at the show was like saying it and stuff too. You can hear it, and people were staying there, and it was it was surprisingly.
It's pop alternative for sure. That's what I would definitely call it. And I made that joke, but it went over your head, unfortunately. Nobody likes the opening band as the song, not in the beginning of the album, but like third.
Yeah.
That it's kind of like a really kind of like somber like ballad, but it's like to the idea of usually people hate the opening band. I'm only performing because like my parents are here. These are my only fans.
Yep.
My only fans.
Thank you.
There's a gap in between this. But it starts with "Leave Me Alone," which is like a really kind of like pounding in your face
very very good alternative rock song. Like it's the first one I've heard all year that is like a really solid, all together put together modern alternative rock song. Whereas like there's a lot of other stuff where it's like indie alternative. There's a lot of indie alternative. There's a lot of like more rock heavy, but this is like the stuff that I grew up really liking, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would say this is, again, alternative pop. Like, this is really good alternative pop. Because I think there's some, like, really good alternative stuff that we are going to go over in the Audioface Awards. But this is particularly alternative pop.
Yes. Yeah, anyways.
Leave Me Alone, also Mad IQs, also some, like, really nice songs to kind of begin it. And what you kind of get from this album is that it is a generally fast-paced or, like, up-tempo kind of thing. And the... Like, I don't want to compare it to Franz Ferdinand, but only in, like, style and how it keeps up the pace. But other than that, it's a pretty interesting melody of really strong, distorted electric guitar, some, like, simple drum beat that just keeps it nothing too crazy, nothing too experimental. But with all of those, like, good features and some fun, you'll probably like it, but maybe won't vocals. It's a pretty solid work.
Yeah, it's interesting because with alternative rock bands, most of the time, it's not duos doing it because it's just too many sounds, but it's just 2 guys doing it. And seeing them live, they do the entire work. Like the frontman, he plays guitar and then he'll do the Johnny Greenwood if you have a keyboard, and sometimes he'll hit the keyboard with his guitar and do stuff while singing too. And I was like, holy shit, that's ridiculous. Sometimes he'll loop other things and stuff. The drummer, he does backup vocals and stuff too, or sometimes he'll be lead vocals on certain other things, but it's usually just the frontman. And yeah, it was really interesting to see that. And now to hear a complete album from him, I was like, holy crap, they're pretty talented, both of them together. I do enjoy this album a lot. Nobody Likes Opening Band is really funny, but it's just, after the first 2 songs, it's a really good like chill and mooder thing where it has, and they did play this live. I remember this song. It's just a little piano and ballad and stuff, a little bit of chimes in the background and stuff. But it's a really good breakup thing in that part of the album too. And then New Invention then picks it back up to where it was before. So I do really like their song placements.
Yeah, I will give you a concession here. A lot of this album feels like a ballad of sorts to some of the different eras and like nice parts of alternative music. And New Invention reminds me of that song Paralyzed. I can't remember the artist who did it, but it's like a blue album cover. Paralyzer, sorry, by Finger 11.
Oh, by Finger 11, yeah.
Yeah. it like is in a similar vein to that song, and it's a similar like I'm absolutely hooked in this like love sort of like infatuation situation. And it's like a very similar kind of song in that vein. But I do really like it. I like their spin on it. But there are moments where I do feel they are definitely making these really big homages to these different different artists in the alternative rock space they like. I think it's really good, and I think it's also like definitely tasteful. It's not just grabbing.
It's not exactly. It's not just grabbing for the past, copy and paste. It's doing it and then putting their own spin on it, but then also having their own works. Because From the Gallows after that slows back down, and then it's this really nice ballad too. But it has a little thing where it does a little like fitter, happier voice. In the interview, I was like, oh shit, okay, they're like actually experimenting now. Because one worry I had, because some of their singles and stuff before were like solid alternative rock stuff, but I'm like, okay, I don't want a whole album to be stagnant and be that. And this is definitely not that. There's a lot of different sound, a lot of different experimenting in this, and I really enjoy it. You have Cluster Hug after that, which then gets back up to where it's a fun, fast song again, where this is more rock heavy of a song for them, but it then a lot of it reminds me of early Muse too, but in a good way, because some of early Muse was a little way too dark and like uber depressing. The first album, he was like, I was like, all right, man, Bellamy, you need some fucking drugs, dude. Like, chill, or you need to get off drugs. I don't know which one of the two.
Probably you need drugs. They usually bring the colors to your life.
He was wild, but Cluster Hug I really like because it like was a more upbeat, older style of Muse. So again, putting a spin on some of my favorite genres in it, and it's very, very good.
Yeah, adding a little bit to throw in some flair. I'd really add some color to that, but yeah, it makes it really nice. Sugar Pills, again, it does one of those homages because the beginning sounds very, very much like Blur's song 2. And I'm very glad that it just does that in the beginning, and the rest of Sugar Pills is like a really kind of fun song, but it's like that very much like alternative punk sort of, not tone and sound because it fits with the rest of the album, but it's a vibe the way it comes out in the lyrics with this like addiction that might not be an addiction, but it might just be like a subversion of the expectation kind of thing. So I definitely like that and notice that there. There's definitely a lot to offer from this album. And after that, there's Kiss Goodnight. And it's, again, you're getting things a little bit slower, but you get this still generally up-tempo, synth-heavy thing. It almost even sounds like a 1975 song at times, just because it has that same sort of consistent pace with the drums. But it's really nice. It's a generally nice sort of shimmering, like, alternative song.
Yeah, Lights Go Down is another good song too. It's a little bit more upbeat, and I like the little piano synth in the beginning, and at the end it does the super clap theme, but not super long, so it's okay here in that context, because it's not like revolves around the sound. So that's the only time you can really kind of put it in a song and not be over annoying and stuff, is that little bit of end. So that's fine. Need You Here is a pulls on the heartstrings, because it's about someone basically going off onto tour and leaving their family behind, and you hear a small child voice in the background, a baby girl going like, oh, I miss my dad when he goes away, but he promises me that I'll be back. And then he says, sometimes I can't stay, or sometimes I have to stay longer, and I tell them, but I'm always going to come back. Yeah. And then at the end, it's cool, because really then the voice goes, and then my dad comes home, and then I'm happy again. Yeah. And it's just like, it's a heartwarming thing in it, because especially for a lot of these smaller bands and whatnot, that they have to leave all their stuff behind and go on tour, and it's really fucking difficult to do.
Yeah, they can't afford to bring people on tour, their families.
Not on these smaller bands. There's no way. And I really, really enjoy that song in that. So, yeah. Door is like a little fun, like minute and a half song interlude until the last song, which is RAZZMATAZZ. And that is like the ending ballad, where it has like little end solos. You don't really have solos in them, or much music, just musicality of it. And this song gives you that little part of it, which I thought was a very, very good ending track in it, because it does wraps everything up, does all the things of the album, but has enough like little ending part of it where it just keeps going on for like a minute and a half stuff for it, and it's like really good, solid ending track. So
yeah, I really like the way it ended. It was a solid sort of ending, that like the sax thing. Yep. Nice solo there. Yeah, really solid. I'm really liking this, especially for a first album.
First album, fucking incredible. Like first LP, incredible. Leave Me Alone for opening track for a first album is perfect. One of my favorite opening tracks of the year by far. And it was interesting because I hear it getting picked up on a lot of radio stations and stuff now. And more people are actually requesting this song and stuff now too. So it's getting more and more hits.
Wait, which song again?
Leave Me Alone, the opening track
Yeah.
on this album. Like I hear it on like the Sirius XM, their indie channel. This was on like the top 5 most requested songs.
Wow.
Was on this, along with like Fleet Foxes and a couple others. I was like, wow. So now they're getting up and bigger. Now I even heard it on more of like your LA based ones, obviously, like your Alt 98.7s and stuff. I'm hearing this song now more, and I'm like, wow. It's interesting because they're really, like, I'm going to say they're super small. They do have over 1 million listeners on Spotify, but not too many people know about them.
Yeah.
So it's a cool thing to hear and much deserved.
Yes, it was very good. We found them.
Yeah. Arbitrary Scale is
award shows.
Award shows.
This is the this is the Game Show Awards. It was presented one time in 2009.
I did not know there was a Game Show Awards.
Yeah, they only did it one time for a reason.
Are there BET Awards? I swear there's BET Awards.
Of course there's a BET Awards. There's like BET Awards every 4 months.
That's right, that's true. Then this is BET Awards just for all the drama and stuff that happens.
Yes. It's saucy, but somehow it keeps coming around, and
we never got to use the Grammys because none of these albums were absolute trash, so they were all decent in their own words.
Yeah. We do such an eclectic podcast.